Qui-Gon Jinn was born in 80 BBY on Coruscant, the bustling capital of the Galactic Republic and home to the Jedi Order's legendary temple. Like many Jedi before him, his journey with the Force began at an early age. Discovered as a Force-sensitive infant, he was taken from his family, whose identity remains unknown, to be raised within the walls of the Jedi Temple. From his earliest years, Qui-Gon was immersed in the teachings of the Jedi, learning discipline, combat skills, and the philosophy that would guide him for the rest of his life. As a youngling, Qui-Gon was assigned to the Heliost clan, one of the many groups of Jedi hopefuls who trained together under the watchful eyes of Jedi Masters. Among his earliest mentors was Jedi Master Tera Sinube, a wise and patient instructor known for his understanding of the Force. Sinube specializes in guiding young minds, ensuring that his students not only mastered their combat forms, but also developed a keen sense of wisdom and intuition. Under Sinube's guidance, Qui-Gon excelled in lightsaber training, meditation, and early Force techniques. Even as a child, he displayed an unorthodox curiosity. He often questioned why the Jedi adhere so strictly to the rules rather than following naturally with the Force's will. This would be a recurring theme throughout his life, obviously. By the time Qui-Gon reached the age of 12, he had demonstrated exceptional talent in both combat and Force sensitivity. He was deemed ready for the apprenticeship, and fate had already chosen his master, Jedi Master Count Dooku. Known for his towering presence, commanding intellect, and unmatched dueling skills, Dooku was one of the most respected Jedi in the Order. Yet even at this time, he was growing increasingly disillusioned with the Jedi Council, a perspective that would shape Qui-Gon's own views as he matured. The apprenticeship of Qui-Gon Jinn under Dooku was rigorous and demanding. Dooku was not an easy master. He held incredibly high standards and expected nothing short of perfection from his student. Qui-Gon, eager to prove himself, devoted himself to his training, excelling in lightsaber combat under Dooku's tutelage. The two would spend countless hours in the training dojos of the Jedi Temple, with Dooku drilling Qui-Gon in the elegant and acrobatic form Makashi, though Qui-Gon himself would later favour Form 4, Ataru, due to its fluid and aggressive nature. Under Dooku's mentorship, Qui-Gon was exposed to the vast knowledge stored within the Jedi archives. Dooku emphasized the importance of understanding history, philosophy, and diplomacy, believing that a Jedi must be more than just a warrior. Qui-Gon absorbed these lessons eagerly, but he also noticed his master's growing skepticism towards the Republic and the Jedi High Council. Dooku often expressed frustration at the Council's rigid decision-making, their bureaucracy, and their increasing involvement in galactic politics. Though Qui-Gon did not share his master's deep resentment, he came to understand and, to some extent, adopt Dooku's independent way of thinking. During their missions together, Qui-Gon experienced firsthand the complexities of the galaxy. He saw corruption within the Republic Senate, the suffering of the Outer Rim worlds, and the moral ambiguities that the Jedi were often forced to navigate. He and Dooku were frequently sent on diplomatic assignments, though they were not always peaceful. One of Qui-Gon's earliest real combat experiences came when he and his master were sent to Sharapak, a world embroiled in war. The mission went awry, and Qui-Gon found himself in the midst of a battle, forced to fight for survival. Though he managed to hold his own, the experience deeply affected him, making him question the Jedi's role as peacekeepers versus warriors. Perhaps one of the most defining moments of Qui-Gon's early years was his first encounter with Jedi prophecies. While studying in the archives, he discovered a holocron containing ancient prophecies, many of which had been dismissed by the modern Jedi Order as outdated mysticism. Yet Qui-Gon felt a deep connection to these words, particularly in the prophecy of the Chosen One, which spoke of an individual who would bring balance to the Force. Despite Dooku's warning that such things were dangerous and led Jedi down a path of obsession, Qui-Gon remained fascinated by them. He believed the Jedi had lost their spiritual connection to the Force by dismissing these visions of the future. His unshakable belief in the Force's guidance began to create tension between him and the Council, even at a young age. When Qui-Gon was knighted around 58 BBY, he had already earned a reputation as an unconventional Jedi, one who trusted his instincts over rules. He respected the Council but did not blindly obey them, a trait that would define his career and ultimately set him on a path different from most Jedi. His relationship with Dooku remained strong after he became a Jedi Knight, though it was clear his former master was growing more distant from the Order. By 42 BBY, Dooku officially left the Jedi Order, retreating to his homeworld of Sereno, leaving Qui-Gon with many unanswered questions. Despite Dooku's departure, Qui-Gon remained steadfast in his Jedi beliefs, though he, too, would never fully conform to the Council's ideals. Through rigorous training, first-hand experience of the galaxy's injustice, and exposure to ancient Force mysteries, Qui-Gon Jinn emerged as a Jedi unlike other. His early years shaped his belief in the living Force, his willingness to change authority, and his destiny as a master who would one day change the course of history. Qui-Gon Jinn was accepted into the Order at a young age, with his early years spent in rigorous training that the Jedi Temple demanded. After years of disciplined study, meditation, and combat training, Qui-Gon Jinn was eventually elevated to the rank of Jedi Knight at the age of 23, around 58 BBY. This transition marked a significant moment in his life, though Qui-Gon never fully embraced the conventional ideas of the Jedi Order. As a Jedi Knight, Qui-Gon quickly established himself as a capable and respected member of the Order. His first assignments, like most Jedi, involved acting as peacekeepers across the galaxy. From resolving local disputes to investigating strange disturbances in the Force, Qui-Gon was soon embroiled in missions that took him far from the safety of the Jedi Temple. He worked alongside other Jedi, often taking on the role of leader or mentor for those younger than him, while maintaining a sharp sense of self and independence in his actions. One early mission involved Qui-Gon and his Padawan at the time, Obi-Wan Kenobi, being dispatched to investigate a diplomatic crisis on the remote planet of Felucia. This was a crucial time in the galaxy's political landscape, as the Republic's grip on the Outer Rim territories was tenuous at best. What was initially thought to be a simple negotiation mission quickly escalated when Qui-Gon uncovered the evidence of a shadowy criminal organization manipulating the local leadership. This mission would lead him to realize that not all problems could be solved through diplomatic means. Sometimes the Jedi had to step into more dangerous roles as protectors and defenders of the innocent. One of Qui-Gon's notable early missions also involved high-stake investigations into the Dragonfire Air Rally, an annual racing event on the planet Lyanna. This event, though seemingly just a race, was under investigation by the Jedi Order due to a series of strange occurrences surrounding it. The race attracted wealthy investors, dignitaries, and political leaders from across the galaxy, making it a prime target for those seeking to disrupt the Republic's delicate peace. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan arrived on Lyanna, assuming the event would be a simple distraction. However, as they delved deeper into the investigation, they discovered that the rally was being used as a front for smuggling illegal weapons, including experimental blasters and explosives. The Jedi quickly realized that the event was being manipulated by powerful criminal syndicates to fund further instabilities across the galaxy. This mission was difficult for Qui-Gon, as he had to navigate the complexities of working within the confines of the Jedi Code while confronting the reality of a corrupt political and economic system that exploited the innocent. The race itself providing a thrilling chase, with Qui-Gon engaging in aerial combat with smugglers and racing to prevent a major terrorist attack. The investigation ended with Qui-Gon successfully dismantling the smuggling ring and revealing the corruption at the heart of the event. This mission proved to Qui-Gon that his instincts were often right, there was more going on behind the scenes than the Jedi Council was willing to acknowledge. Despite his growing success, Qui-Gon Jinn's relationship with the Jedi Council became increasingly strained. Though his dedication to peace and justice was unquestionable, Qui-Gon began to see cracks in the Jedi Order that many of his peers either ignored or chose to overlook. The Jedi Order, as a peacekeeping body for the Republic, had become entangled in politics and the bureaucracy. The Jedi were no longer seen as impartial agents of the Force, but as pawns in a political game. This realization came to the forefront during a mission in the mid-50s BBY, when Qui-Gon Jinn uncovered the corruption within the Jedi ranks itself. It began with the discovery of a secret meeting of several Jedi Masters who were secretly discussing the matters of galactic politics, far removed from the Order's purpose. Qui-Gon's investigation revealed that certain members of the Council had been using their influence to control key military decisions, pulling the Jedi into a war for the Republic's interests, an act that conflicted with their true calling as peacekeepers. Qui-Gon's discovery caused him great inner turmoil. He believed that the Jedi had strayed too far from their core purpose. Some of his closest allies, including Master Windu, argued that the Jedi had no choice but to adapt in order to maintain the galaxy's stability. Yet Qui-Gon remained convinced that such entanglements with the Republic's politics would lead to the Jedi's downfall. His growing disenchantment with the Order's methods set the stage for many of his future conflicts with the Council. Around the same time that Qui-Gon began to question the direction of the Jedi Order, he also found himself delving deeper into the mysteries of the Force, specifically the prophecies that surrounded it. Qui-Gon had been long fascinated with the idea of the Chosen One, a figure foretold to bring balance to the Force. The Jedi Council, however, dismissed the notion of the prophecy as mere legend, believing that the future was too fluid to predict with certainty. Qui-Gon, however, found himself drawn to these ancient texts and relics, which hinted at a greater destiny that lay ahead. His first encounter with the prophecy came during a mission to the planet Tython, where he uncovered a long-forgotten Jedi holocron hidden within the ruins of a once great Jedi temple. The holocron spoke of the coming powerful Force-sensitive child who would restore balance to the Force, what would later be known as Anakin Skywalker. Despite the Council's skepticism, Qui-Gon was convinced that the Chosen One was real, and that he would play a key role in the galaxy's future. This belief became central to his philosophy, and he felt compelled to follow the will of the Force in search of this individual. He would later encounter Anakin Skywalker on the desert planet of Tatooine, but by then, Qui-Gon had already formed a deep understanding of the responsibility that came with this knowledge of the prophecy. While Qui-Gon's professional life as a Jedi Knight was filled with intrigue and conflict, his personal life was far more complex. In his youth, Qui-Gon developed a deep, intense connection with a fellow Jedi, Tahl. Tahl was a skilled Jedi Knight, known for her compassionate and fierce dedication to justice. The two shared a bond that went beyond simple camaraderie, often finding themselves in situations where their trust and mutual respect was tested. The two Jedi were sent on a mission to Felucia, a lush but dangerous planet located in the Outer Rim, where a large conflict was brewing between local warlords and Republic-aligned militias. During this mission, Qui-Gon found himself torn between his duty as a Jedi and the personal feelings for Tahl. The Jedi Code, which strictly forbade attachment, conflicted the growing affection he felt for her. For the first time, Qui-Gon began to question the rigidity of the Jedi Code, wondering whether love was truly incompatible for the role of a Jedi. On Felucia, Qui-Gon and Tahl's bond deepened, and their feelings for each other were undeniable. However, the mission required them to focus on the greater good, and Qui-Gon was forced to suppress his emotions. Tahl herself was fully aware of these complexities of the situation, but understood that the survival of the Republic depended on their success. Eventually, The mission concluded with both Jedi successfully mediating the conflict and ensuring peace, but Qui-Gon's internal struggle had only deepened. While he never acted on his feelings for Tahl in a way that would break the Jedi Code, this experience left an indelible mark on Qui-Gon's philosophy. It was during this period that Qui-Gon became even more skeptical of the Jedi Council's teachings, feeling that their rules and restrictions sometimes hindered the true potential of a Jedi. It was also the beginning of his journey toward accepting that attachment, when handled with balance, could be a force for good.